Well, good morning, everybody. I guess that depends on what part of the world you're in. My part of the world, we have 6 a.m. And I don't know about you, but I've been hearing a lot of announcements from the White House lately. And I'm just wondering if the current president is as much of a workaholic as the former president was. And if he is, whether or not he's going to make one of his all important announcements today. You never know. A lot of strange things are going on. Um, So I just thought I'd jot down a few questions that I would like some answers for, and maybe you would too. So feel free to comment if you feel the same way as I do. So let's begin with question number one. Why was the inauguration held 5 hours ahead of schedule? Every inauguration countdown clock that I managed to find was still counting down when the inauguration was over. Can you explain that? And this whole Antifa.com domain, still being directed at the WhiteHouse.gov website, has yet to cease. Does that not bother you, Mr. President? What's the harm in trying to reveal who the registered owners behind that domain are? Another question I'd like to know is are you a member, or at least a shareholder, or one of many shareholders, or a CEO, or one of many CEOs at United States Corporation? Another question I'd like to ask you is can you tell us why Flight PS 752 was shot down over the skies of Iran on January 8th, 2020? We all know it wasn't an accident. What we'd like to know is why it happened and what's going to be done about it. Another question I'd like to ask you is isn't it strange that those behind the attack at the port in Beirut have not yet been brought to justice? And what is your administration doing to discover who the attackers were? After all, isn't Lebanon an ally of the United States? We'd also like to know what good will it do re-entering into diplomacy with Iran when we know that their Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is in bed with Al Qaeda? Or I'd like to know what you have to say to the people of Canada and the Keystone Pipeline about all the jobs that people on both sides of the border have lost as a result of your administration's effort to kill the project. Other than Iran, and apart from the COVID stimulus, originally drafted in part by the previous administration, who are the benefactors of the executive orders that you've made thus far? On or about January 18th, 2020, someone released a document titled The Second Declaration of Independence. I'd like to know if you know who wrote it, or maybe who released it and why, and was it meant for you? There seems to be a lot of people, including Gold Star families and First families, declaring that the military and the Marine Corps have or show no respect for you. What do you say to them? What are you planning on doing in order to win the respect of men and women in uniform? Are you going to have them continue to sleep in underground parking garages? I'd like to know if America were to be attacked by a hostile force, like, for example, I don't know, China today, would those sworn to protect the country respond the same way they would under the previous administration? Mr. Biden, your predecessor, we all know, refused the presidential salary. Now, will you do the same? Mr. Biden, we also know that your predecessor was forced to answer a lot of tough and some pretty unfair questions going back to things he said and did long before even running for election. Can you tell the American people that you're willing to do the same? Just wanted to note that the people of the world watched as Donald Trump took part in countless televised debates. How many televised debates did you take part in before being sworn in as Commander in Chief at what seemed to be a closed ceremony? Just wanted to know if you're one of a number of anonymous shareholders at United States Corporation. And what are your administration's plans for helping the homeless? And that's pretty much it for now. I guess you don't work on weekends, so I suppose your next announcement will come out on Monday. I figure we should have a few more questions for you by then.